think a lot of times men get super trashed in our culture, right?
Yeah.
There's so much women's empowerment out there, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you're putting down a man in order to exalt a woman, that creates a disastrous consequence. Hello everyone, welcome back to the next episode of Timeless Style and Traditional Values. It's me, Vittoria, your host, and again this week with Mom and my sister Julia. I know it's been a few weeks since Mommom has been on the show, but don't worry, she'll be back very soon. She's been traveling all over the place this summer. She probably has the biggest social life of all of us.
She's a busy lady.
She's a busy woman, keeping up with all her people, but she will be back soon. Don't worry, I know some of you have missed her. This week, we are coming up on Father's Day weekend, so we thought that we might talk a little bit about fathers, the important role that they play in society, and how we can celebrate them and respect them. So first, let's talk a little bit about our Father's Day traditions and what we like to do. So, Julia, why don't you start us off? Let's talk, what do we normally do for Dad? I know shopping and celebrating dads can be hard because sometimes it just feels like they have everything. So what do we normally do to celebrate our dad?
So our father, I don't know if this has ever been mentioned on the podcast, but he is a foodie, probably the biggest foodie I've ever known. So his idea of a perfect day is to go out, go shopping, buy all the food that you need, and come back, and we cook for 3 or 4 hours for dinner and have this grand feast of every single food you could ever want. Mm-hmm. So usually we'll cook a really good meal, which we have really good meals every night, so it's kind of hard to beat. But we'll do something out of the ordinary, maybe look up a new recipe, maybe do one of our favorites, but we'll just spend all day together, which, again, we usually do, but if Dad is off or something, usually on the weekend. And then we'll do gifts at the end, maybe a cake. I know Dad's favorite cake is carrot cake.
Yeah.
Carrot cake. We always make carrot cake for him.
You have a great recipe for that. Thanks. Julia is a great baker.
She's pretty much the only one in our family who can actually bake dessert. Mm-hmm. Don't ever ask my
Don't
mom.
ask her, or grandma. Don't do it.
My mom
don't
and Mommom are incredible cooks. They cannot bake. Every time Mommom we're literally trash talking Mommom while she's not on the show right now. We apologize, Mommom, but she would agree with us if she was here.
Oh yeah.
Every time she bakes a cake, it falls apart, it crumbles, it cracks. She can't do it.
And this is a box cake that we're talking about. She
Yes.
doesn't try to do anything that is really heroic in the kitchen.
No.
She buys a box cake and she can't even cook that.
No.
It falls apart, it's crumbly, but she is an amazing cook.
Yeah.
So maybe, thank goodness, it kind of like skipped Mommom, skipped me, and you girls did get the baking gene. You really
just follow the
enjoyed doing
recipe.
that. But when we get together for Father's Day, it's rarely just our family of 5. Mm-hmm. We usually have aunts and uncles there, all of the cousins, Poppop and Mommom are always included. We tend to have a whole entire tribe for Father's Day, and we tend to go to church together, and then we will do brunch, we'll cook together. Usually there's a pool involved, and it's just a really great time to honor our dads. I know for gifts, all the men in our family tend to play tennis, and they all tend to be foodies, right?
Yes. Our whole family is just revolves around food.
Uncle Eric's a huge foodie.
Yeah.
Pop is like the least foodie, but he still loves food.
He just has good self-control.
Yeah,
but he will eat
true.
anything.
He has good portion control.
But he enjoys food so much when he does.
He's the last
He
one
sits
sitting
there
at
and
the
chews like a
table.
cow. He just marinates.
Yes, he
does.
He just sits.
Chews like a cow, not that he chews sloppily, but he just chews.
Oh yeah, no, sorry.
Right,
He
savoring every bite.
Yes.
So that's what our Father's Day looks like, and we're really excited about this Father's Day. And I know that for a barbecue, I'll tend to dress a little more casually to church, knowing that when I get home or when I get to my sister-in-law's house or to Mommom's house, we usually will rotate through, although a lot of times it is at Mommom's house all the holidays, because Mommom does tend to do all of the cooking for everything. She's still very much, we'll ask, can we bring something? And she's like, no, I'm doing everything myself. Although she is such a planner, so this is like maybe a traditional value of where like moms, grandmoms used to cook. Like we rarely go out for the holidays, right? Like we
rarely go out
celebrate
ever,
the holidays in our house with our family, and somebody does all the cooking, and we love that. It's not like burdensome. Everybody helps.
Anyway, back to Father's Day, because this is a Father's Day episode.
Day.
I think, you know, as women, we can empower and support our men by being the traditional Christian women that we were created to be, by being the planners, by being intentional with what we're cooking and how we're cultivating a home environment. And that's how we as women can support our men to help them be the best, most empowered, masculine man that they can be, right? And making sure that we celebrate them and who they are is such a good thing. I think a lot of times men get super trashed in our culture, right?
Yeah.
There's so much women's empowerment out there, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you're putting down a man in order to exalt a woman, that creates a disastrous consequence. And so we need to make sure that within our families and within our homes, we as women are supporting and empowering our men. I know I've seen both of my grandmothers have worked alongside of my grandfathers. And yeah, maybe they didn't have their own career, but I think both sets of my grandparents looked at their career as a career together. It wasn't just my Poppop's career, it was Mommom and Poppop's career, because what she did in the home and what she did on the side empowered his career. They built a life together. They never looked at it as just his business. It was their business, because what she did outside of the business side allowed him to really build and create and grow a business. My other grandparents, Italian immigrants, came here with nothing. And my grandfather had a skill. He knew how to build cabinets. And so he took that skill and turned it into a general contracting company in the city of Philadelphia. And again, it wasn't just his business. It wasn't just his career. It was their career. It was their business. It was their family business that they built together, because what my grandmother did in taking care of the family and cooking, in staying up and working side jobs, allowed them to build that business together. You and Dad, same thing. And hopefully, Lord willing, we'll be able to do the same thing for our husbands. But, you know, all that to be said, we have to make sure that we are empowering and celebrating men the way that they're supposed to be. So along with that, we talked kind of a little bit about the traditional value. I know normally we do timeless style and then traditional value, but we did a little bit opposite today. We talked about the timeless values encapsulated in Father's Day, in celebrating masculinity and celebrating how healthy a family can be when you have a father who is celebrated for being masculine and a mother who is celebrated for being feminine, right? So now let's talk about the timeless style aspect of this. I know you're probably wondering, how are they going to tie style into Father's Day? But as we mentioned, a lot of times what we'll do for Father's Day is have some sort of big cookout type thing. For us, it might look a little different because we're Italian. So instead of grilling hamburgers, we're making pizza in our outdoor pizza oven. So what are we wearing to our Father's Day, summer, barbecue, pizza party, whatever it is? Julia, what do you normally like to wear?
Well, as Mom mentioned, there's usually a pool involved, so usually my bathing suit. But we don't change into the bathing suits until after our big family meal. So usually since it's in the home, it doesn't have to be too dressed up because it's just our family together, unless we're taking pictures for the gram. Never forget about that. But it's more of a casual deal. And
we took pictures. I took pictures before the gram. So even when you kids were 5, 3, and 1 and the gram didn't exist, I always had you cute, adorable. We'd get those pictures, capture them with Daddy, with Poppop,
with our father,
with No is their Italian grandfather. They call him No. And then you could change into your play clothes, or then you could put your bathing suit on. But we always had your church clothes, which I think is also perhaps an old value, where you have your church clothes, you have your play clothes, and they're not the same thing. At least that's how I taught you girls. Like, we like to go to church or out to brunch or with the family in a sundress. Maybe it doesn't need to be really fancy, but it has to be something that's pretty and something that we can take pictures in. And then you change out of that and you would put your play clothes on and run around and get filthy dirty with your cousins. And I don't care about what the pictures look like at that point.
Right.
So now that you're older, it's a little bit different for Father's Day, and we're all spread out all over the country a little bit this Father's Day. But it's still the same. Like, we like to dress up for Dad. We like to look nice as a family. We honor our fathers and our Poppops and for working so tirelessly and so hard and being such great providers, and for allowing me, and eventually, prayerfully, this will be you girls, but my husband allows me to stay at home and take care. Like, this is my castle. It's all of our castle, but this is where I'm the CEO. My husband totally trusts me with everything that happens here in the house. Not that we don't talk about that. Not that I don't talk about what happens at his office, but he knows where his role is, and I know where my role is, and that has worked really well. And obviously, it's worked very well for Mommom and Poppop.
Right.
They're going on 60 years of marriage, and they've had quite a few very successful businesses and still do. More importantly, all of their children are walking in faith with God, all of their grandchildren, which has always been their most important goal for them. They talk about it all the time. And Nono and Nono are coming up on 60 years married as well. And they've had so many businesses that are successful as well. So even that alone is just a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, I agree. So all that being said, we hope that all the fathers out there have a wonderful Father's Day. Ladies, make sure you are celebrating your fathers, your husbands. If you have a son who's a father, make sure you're celebrating them and telling them that you appreciate them and love them for everything that they do. Before we hop off, though, I do want to quickly mention our sponsor, Culture of Life, which is an online fashion boutique that empowers women to be their true feminine selves by creating and cultivating feminine collections. So this dress is from their collection. It has this beautiful bow. I'm not sure if you can see around the waist. It's
Beautiful
got a
tortoiseshell buttons,
a collar, a rolled cuff sleeve. It's made with natural fibers. This sweater is also from Culture of Life, very classic. I love it paired together with the pearls. And then this top, it comes actually as part of a set that they have. It's a top and short set. So make sure you are shopping with brands that
made in the USA,
yes,
timeless style.
Make sure that you shop brands that support your values, and Culture of Life is one of them. So make sure you check them out. All of their information is going to be linked in the description of the podcast. Make sure that you are subscribing on wherever you get your podcasts and following along, and let us know in the comments how you're going to be celebrating Dad this weekend. Have a great weekend, everybody.